You're about to find out why you should never mess with a sumo wrestler. Welcome back, Charlie here. Sumo wrestlers are some of the biggest people on the planet, eating roughly 7,000 calories and training for upwards of 14 hours per day. First, we have to look at Yamamoto Yama. This guy is Japan's heaviest sumo wrestler. Known simply as Yama, he weighs in at a massive 600 pounds and stands at a massive height of 6 feet and 4 inches. He is an absolute beast, able to push opponents out of the ring with ease. Yama eats a 10,000 calorie lunch every day, and his training is incredibly intense. If you think sumo wrestlers sit around eating snacks and watching TV all day, then you'd be wrong. Yama wakes up every day at 5 AM and does 5 hours of intense training. Yama then does what's known as Butsakari Gecko. This is where sumo wrestlers take turns repeatedly hitting and pushing each other until one eventually collapses from exhaustion. Yama also does normal training, shoving his opponents out of the ring. Whoever leaves the ring last is the winner. To keep up his weight, Yama eats 7 to 20,000 calories every day. Yama is so big when photos of him went viral, many thought they were fake. But this guy is the real deal. However, Yama is not the heaviest sumo wrestler in the world. That title goes to Aurora Satoshi. This Russian sumo wrestler weighs an insane 645 pounds and stands at 6 feet and 3 inches, making him the heaviest sumo wrestler of all time. For lunch, he orders 50 servings of yakiniku, which is a barbecued meat, and for a side, 6 bowls of ramen noodles. Because of his weight, Aurora lacks agility and speed, but he makes up for this with his insane strength and techniques. His favorite winning technique is known as Yorakiri, which involves leaning on an opponent to get him out of the circle. You may think that Aurora is all fat, but thanks to all his exercise, a lot of his weight is actually muscle. He's definitely a feared opponent, but not all savages have to be heavy or even adults. That's what this kid named Rusei Amai proves beyond a doubt. This 11-year-old Bruce Lee fanatic is known as the strongest kid in the world. When this Japanese kid was 1 year old, he watched a Bruce Lee movie. Ever since, he's been training to become stronger than Bruce himself. Rusei trains for 3.5 hours every day. When he was only 5 years old, he could perfectly replicate Bruce Lee's nunchuck skills. So just imagine what he can do now. I don't think anyone at school could ever bully this kid. I just hope Rusei uses his power for good and not evil. Rusei's ab and arm muscles are what adults train for years to get. Just imagine how strong this kid's going to be when he grows up. He might even be as strong as this guy. Meet Kyriakos Grizzly. He is a Greek powerlifter, known for his mind-blowing strength. He can bench 551 pounds unassisted, and does so while screaming like a maniac. Grizzly, as he's known, stands 6 feet tall and weighs 440 pounds. He's been breaking weightlifting records for nearly a decade now. He gets his nickname as many compare him to a grizzly bear, but in my opinion, he's even scarier and definitely louder. Just imagine this guy charging at you. A less heavy but even more dangerous man is Shi Yan Shu. Shi Yan Shu is a Shaolin master. He's been training since he was a kid and is now an expert in the Tiger Fist fighting style. The secret to Tiger Fist is strength in your fingers, so Shi conditions his hands and fingers, making them stronger than iron. Shi can also fight at an insane speed. He trains from 4 AM to 8 PM every day, dedicating his entire life to being a Shaolin savage. But someone even scarier is this Russian woman. Meet Natalia Kuznetsova. When Natalia was young, she was very timid and thin, but that all changed when she turned 14 and began weightlifting. Her confidence grew, and so did her muscles. Natalia now weighs 220 pounds, making her the heaviest female bodybuilder in the world. She can deadlift 778 pounds. That's basically the weight of 3 men. And she can bench press 710 pounds. So don't mess with this woman under any circumstances. I'm sure in any arguments with her husband, Natalia wins every time. However, Natalia could not beat this next guy. This is Levan Saganashvili, better known as the Georgian Hulk. He is a 7-time world champion arm wrestler. His grip can literally break your hand. If your car breaks down, this guy can tow it by hand, and even break a watermelon just by slapping it. So it's best not to get on the wrong side of this guy. Levan's arms are bigger than some people's heads. Levan is the strongest arm wrestler in history, measuring at 6 feet and 3 inches, and weighing a mind-blowing 392 pounds. Forget Hulk, I think Levan might be the real-life Bane. A smaller but even more dangerous man is Yuan Yonghee. This Chinese Shaolin savage has mastered the nunchuck. He can move nunchucks all around his body at lightning-fast speeds. He can also throw darts and knives with insane accuracy. Yuan has been training for decades to do this, perfecting his nunchuck abilities for more than 12 hours per day. In the future, these two kids might become the strongest men on the planet. Meet Giuliano and Claudio Stroi. When they were only 4 and 6 years old, they'd already won weightlifting championships. These kids weren't playing hopscotch or Nintendo. Instead, they were making some serious gains. It's safe to say no one will bully these kids on the playground. Today, Giulio and Claudio are 16 and 18, and have maintained their insane strength. They're well on their way to becoming the strongest brothers in the world. But for now, they're not stronger than this man. Meet Martin Ford from the UK. This guy stands at a crazy 6 feet and 8 inches and weighs over 300 pounds. If you're a paparazzi, then stay away from Martin. He has a habit of screaming at any paparazzi who dares to take a photo of him. But Martin wasn't always like this. When he was younger, he was a skinny cricket player. But after a cricket injury, he picked up weightlifting instead. Martin eats 8,000 calories every day. He does this by eating 8 meals per day, often consuming 15 eggs per meal. But despite all the food, Martin makes sure he never gets fat, training for more than 10 hours per day. Martin is nicknamed the Nightmare, but I think he's scarier than any nightmare I've ever had. But perhaps this guy is even more scary. This is Blessing Awadabu from Nigeria. He is absolutely massive, and is going for the title Mr. Olympia. He is famous for consuming insane amounts of protein powder. But judging by his physique, it's working. He stands at a height of 5'10" and weighs 250 pounds.
I actually can't get out, bro. I'm stuck. Dude.
Growing up, he was a scrawny kid, too shy to even take off his shirt at the beach. But today, he's an absolute tank. He consumes around 5,000 calories per day, and sometimes works out for more than 11 hours. Blessing is so strong, even his back muscles have muscles. Blessing is known as the Boogeyman, presumably because he's a scary-looking guy. But don't be fooled. Under all that muscle, Blessing has a heart of gold. But now it's time to make your voice heard. Comment below which of these people was the biggest savage. I've been Charlie, thanks for watching. If you want to see my short videos, then check out my second channel. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and if you haven't already, subscribe. If you don't, Grizzly will get you.